What is up, YouTube? Johnny B here again today, and we are finally back with one of the last mods that we're going to be doing for now on the Fiesta ST. This is going to be the auxiliary fuel kit from Stratified. We've been waiting for another fuel kit that we were going to run, but it just didn't end up working out, so we just ended up canceling the order because it was taking way too long. Same issue that we had with the intake, but I mean, at least we got the intake. The actual auxiliary fuel that we're going to go with, we couldn't even get in contact with the company, so we just ended up canceling the order through PayPal. But now we went ahead and got this one here locally. One of the people here in the Arizona Fiesta group decided that they wanted to part out their car, and they had one that they were willing to get rid of for a good deal. So we went to go pick it up today, and we're going to be installing it on the Fiesta, and that's the last piece of the puzzle so that we can be closer to that 400 wheel horsepower mark, because the stock injectors that come in this car, this is only a direct injection car. The most you can probably get out of them is like 300, 320. Doesn't matter what else you do. If you don't have fueling, that's going to be your limit. So with this, we're going to be able to add some more fuel. We can even run a higher concentration of ethanol. So we can even run like E54, which is the pump that we have here in Arizona. Certain ones and on the east coast or the east side of the city, there's some that are like E85, but here locally to like the central Phoenix is E54, which is about what you want to run on this Fiesta. You don't want to run too much concentration because it's not going to be flex fuel. But we do want to have it tuned, for E54 to be able to reach that high horsepower number and be a little bit safer, just like in the FRS, which I was also hitting 400. So this thing seems perfectly reasonable with a car that already comes boosted from factory. It should already have a little bit of over engineering, for that turbo to make sure that the car is going to last like it should. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start taking this thing apart. So here is the Stratified kit. If you look here, all it really is just a throttle body spacer. So it's a throttle body spacer, and it comes with an injector. So that way, when you require more fuel, there's fuel going through here, and it goes straight into the intake manifold. You can see here, there's like a little T piece. So you effectively go ahead and remove your stock fuel line. You go ahead and insert this, and then you put your stock fuel line on here, and you're gating fuel to this. And then obviously we need to wire this up. So to wire it up, you have this computer right here, which comes with its own little programmation, little install to your computer. It's called Split Second. So what this computer does is it reads off of the other injectors. So we have some connections over here. It's a little bit messy right now, but we have all these connections here. We just need to power a ground. We need to hook up each one of these to each individual injector, and then this one just hooks up to the injector that comes on the Stratified kit. So from here, this is going to need to be tuned as well as the car. So the car, we're going to probably put it on cob, and then we're going to be using the Stratified kit tuning separately. You kind of have to tune side by side until you get that perfect, air fuel mixture to where it's safe and it's going to be working, giving us the most power. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's very simple, apart from this wiring, for a lot of people it's not really simple, but luckily this was already installed on the car, so everything's already wired up and set. We just have to go ahead and do that ourselves. And let's go ahead and start removing the intake pipe. Right, so the first thing that we did was go ahead and remove the cold side charge pipe, and then there are 4 bolts that are located on the throttle body. So as soon as you remove those, you just go ahead and put the aux fuel kit in between it. It's like a little spacer. It has an O-ring, so it replaces, the gasket which would be on the actual manifold. So that way everything is, it's gasket and then O-ring, so everything is sealed properly. And it comes with longer bolts, so you just put those on and bolt it down. So that's pretty much where we're at. We went ahead and bolted it down. And as you can see, here's the injector on this side, and then if you follow this line, it's gonna have to come over here to this little area, because if you look right here, this is the factory fuel line, and then right here, this little shiny piece is, you know, the factory fuel rail connector. So we're gonna put it in between both of those. One way to access it, if you can do it, you're gonna need one of these. This is a fuel line disconnect. You're gonna need a little tool set to make sure you have the correct one. This is an OEM tools one, and you can try to get it without removing this, but I just removed it for visibility, so I could see what I was doing. This just takes a couple of 8, 7, and 10 mils, and it just pops off. So I did have to remove the parts, you know, these pieces right here that would go right there, and pretty much that was it. We got it out of the way. We got the fuel line off, and now we're just gonna go ahead and try to route this nicely and just hook it up there, so that way we have fuel to the auxiliary fuel kit. All right, guys, so now we have the stratified split second computer ECU thing that programs our extra injector. So we just mounted it here on top with some, you know, double-sided tape just to get it stick. You can drill it into your little fuse box cover, but we don't want to do that. So we have 2 lines coming out of it. You have, this is your power and ground, and then this is what reads each individual injector. It also hooks up to your map sensor, and it hooks up to that injector that you added with the kit, with the Aux Fuel Kit. So the way this works is this, I just went ahead and routed it, and it replaces like a little 10 amp fuse in here, and you can just literally clip this on and clip the fuse off. So you remove that fuse and you put in the cable, goes into the fuse, and then the fuse goes into the box of that. So that's how this gets its power, and it's fused. And then if you look right here, this is where your negative battery terminal connects to the body, and this little cable right here is the ground that we connected from the split second ECU thing. So then after that, that's, you know, this is already wired up, it's already powered. Now what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna go ahead and follow these wires, you go straight down, coming around here, and then we just kind of like routed them in between everything else, zip tied it all together to make sure nothing is moving. Comes up here, and then you have the first tap. So this spark plug right here connection, you're gonna connect to the left side, or the side that's closest, you know, to the back of the car. Same thing with all of them. You go on to the next one, connect to that side, which is pretty much like this side right here. Same thing. And then there's one last cable that goes all the way over here to your map sensor, which also connects to the left side cable, so the furthermost left side, which is also, you know, facing more towards the back. And then if you just backtrack all the way back here, you can see that we used one of these cables, which is this black one. It goes down, and then it goes and connects straight to the injector that's on the auxiliary fuel kit. So that's pretty much how you hooked it up. You know, it's all hooked up now. You want to make sure that these connections are done properly. They're like a 3-piece connection. It has a little gray piece that goes underneath the cable, and then this metal piece has like a little puncture spot to where it just taps into it. So you screw that on, and then it just punctures it. And then last, you hook up this top piece, which will have this cable, and it'll just like hook up to like a little piece of metal in there, and then you just tighten it down by twisting it. So this is the you know, they come with the kit, so you don't have to worry about trying to purchase those later on. And there's the aux fuel installed. Before we run 400 wheel horsepower, obviously we're gonna need to tune it, and we're gonna need to go ahead and add the cob to, you know, make sure that the car is running good. All right, guys, we are done installing the aux fuel kit. That was a bit easier than I expected. I expected it to be a lot harder, you know, having to deal with all this kind of wiring and taking off a bunch of parts, but it was perfectly fine. It was fairly easy to do. It's very hot here in AZ, and I'm sweating, but we're trying to get this done. It's even a little bit dark outside now, but this is what we're going to be using to actually tune the Fiesta ST. We're going to be using a cob access port. Obviously, most of you guys know, all the Subaru guys run it. The Fiesta also runs the cob, and I think this is a nice little addition. The Evo that I have also ran on cob, And it's cool because you get to see, you know, a little screen. It shows you your AFR, it shows you your boost pressure, it shows you everything. So in theory, you don't even need gauges when you run this thing, which, like in my case for the FRS, I have to run a separate gauge to be able to, you know, scroll through everything. Which in my case, it's fine because it's like stock, it's out of the way. You can't see it unless, you know, you actually look at it. It blends in right with the car, which is how I like it. But this is also very cool option. You just kind of set it to the side and you just get to see everything. So with this, in conjunction with the split second that goes with the Aux Fuel Kit, this car should be making roughly around 400 wheel horsepower. That's going to be the goal. We'll probably have like a 300 map, a 350 map, and a 400 map. 400 map being the kill map or the gap map, in case anybody was trying to catch a gap. Just saying, because these little Fiestas are always being bullied on the road because they're such little cars. They're little hatchbacks. People think less of them. People think that this car is going to be in my way, but not this one. This one is going to be one that's going to leave a lot of people with their mouths open, and that's the whole idea. So that's what we're going to tune it. So the last thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and hook this up. We'll probably get it tuned later on next week, hopefully, and be, you know, driving it around. This car, it already turns on and everything because it's a turbo car, so you don't really have to modify for map, you modify for fueling and air for like you have to do with the FRS. But yeah, so let's go ahead and just finish installing this. But this is going to be the end of the video for you guys because this is literally just plug into the OBD2 connector and see what it says. And until next time, we will be showing you guys the ST actually driving around. So stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed the series. Sorry it took a little bit longer to come out with, you know, the later episodes of this, but that's how it is. So as always, you guys have a great day.